the Chen through, sometimes banning the Chen. And Chen and Enchantress, of course, some of Kuro's favorite. We have both of them still left in the pool now as well. IO banned out. I'm not surprised about that.
You have to, yeah. The IO Tinies just looked unbeatable when Nigma ran it. And I think with Nigma, it's kind of like pick your poison. That was the issue for aggressive mode. After losing to the lifesteal, like, we just got to ban this hero, and then Nigma had first pick, so like, we got to ban Slaughter. That hero is just too good. So then a Chen gets through the pool. Like, it's hard to know what to ban against Nigma because they have too many heroes that just feel like they play exceptionally well.
So I thought what was going to happen is Gambit were going to give up Chen or Enchantress and take Timbersaw for themselves in the first one too. Because they've shown that they're willing to pick up their offlaner a couple times in the first one too. Centaur and Timbersaw are both kind of their go-tos in that regard, and they both do relatively well against Chen. Timbersaw especially, right? Because it's just all right-click damage.
Yeah, and here I said that Nigma often goes for the same couple bans. They don't. Not in this game anyway. They completely change it up.
This opens up the Batrider for Gambit. It's been banned out, mostly since FN just went on a tear with it. Most teams just been like, let's just not let him have the hero.
Yeah.
So basically, Nigma obviously know this. They're prepared for it. They either have a mid matchup they feel that can play against the Batrider. But the really nice thing with the Bat is it's a flex hero. It can still be played as an offlane. It can be played as a support. So I feel like this is a really good opening pick for Gambit regardless.
All right, well, we're going to see if they have lost faith in their formula from before. They are going to switch it up. Because, like, other times they would have snap-picked the Rubik here, right? That wasn't banned.
Yeah.
And so they would have snap-picked that up. And then other times, I think they've drafted both Timber was banned, but they drafted Pango against the Enchantress. So here, the Clockwork instead. And Shiva, as you pointed out, Nigma is always willing to just snap pick a lifestealer, and I can't disagree with it at all.
And I'm surprised that Gambit let it through, but I guess this is the first game of a best of 3. So if you are gonna let it through any of the games, this would be it. Like you feel like you have a plan against it.
Yeah, you've got a plan. For one of their openers. I mean, Slaughter's one of those heroes that just seems like the best offlaner. The hero's maybe a little on the OP side, so you kind of just feel like you'd rather game plan for this niche pick of theirs rather than. I mean, you don't game plan for a Slaughter. You just kind of lose to it because it's so good. So we'll see if they have the right ideas to play against the lifestealer.
So leading into this tournament, I was grinding a lot, and I felt like there was a very limited pool of both safe lane and off lane heroes that just felt good. And Slardar, obviously, he felt incredibly strong. But I actually thought Mars was the second best offlaner going into this tournament. And at first, it looked like that was going to be the case. We saw a fair amount of Mars in the qualifiers. We saw, I think, some in the group stage. But ever since, just not a whole lot of him. I know, like, Gambit picked it at least once, lost. And then probably just haven't picked it up since.
Do you have an idea of why that is? Because the hero still seems to have a decent lane most of the time when I see it.
Maybe it's about some of the safe lane carries that aren't being picked up anymore. Like, you don't see as much Slurk, for example, which I think Mars actually does quite well against. Less Phantom Lancers. I haven't seen a ton of those, oftentimes banned out.
It does feel like the hero is just hard cannons by BKBs is part of it to me. Like, the cores get BKBs, and it's like, well, you're just not afraid. This offlane does nothing to you at that point. Or you're here like Lifesteal and you have a built-in BKB. But we'll see Nigma bans to protect their Lifestealer, the Razor, the Riki taken out. Here's Pesky. The Riki with the Clockwork was something that we saw aggressive mode pull out in that game 1. It lost, but you could see kind of how this combo works very well. You instantly follow up the Clockwork initiation with a blink strike in and a smoke screen, and the hero can't do anything.
Yeah, I think it's so good versus Lifestealer too, because he's able to output so much physical damage that normally Lifestealer, he just plays a very long game, whereas tankiness and like natural sustain, he's able to just like play the first 10 seconds of the fight, no problem, and fast reset, go again. That's how Miracle, he really pushes that to the limits, and that's why he looks so good on the hero. But Riki makes the game a lot different for Lifestealer, both through the intense amount of physical damage he's able to do, but also because of that silence combination you're talking about.
I think a core Gambit might be preparing to pick, if possible, is going to be the Medusa. It does have a decent matchup against Lifesteal. It's one of the carries that can kind of keep up in terms of farm as well. So that may be something they're considering as a 4th or 5th pick.
And Nature's Prophet comes out. We've heard, I believe it was Kyle, that is surprised that we don't see this hero more often. Ooh, Elder Titan as well.
Very quick pick.
Yeah.
It'll be the FNG hero. Very strong 5 position. Just secures your lanes. Very annoying. We saw FNG just camping cliffs, sniping couriers, creating space for his team as well. Very effectively on the hero. Great, vision from the treants. Easy to set up wards.
5 seconds.
It's a very well-rounded hero right now for a 5 position.
When you have like your first 2 openers are very pick-off oriented, right? You want to be able to have a vision advantage over the enemy team. Meanwhile, Nigma, they have a stronger team fight lineup so far, especially with that ET pick they just got. So you said Medusa, right, for
I like
Gambit?
Medusa.
Yeah, I always like that against the Lifestealer. The other 2 cores that I thought were still in the pool was Faceless Void, and then I guess this Morphling.
Morphling, yeah.
Morphling means that they are saving their last pick. Overall last pick is going to Gambit. So they're saving their last pick for
For the
FN.
mid matchup, yeah. Well, also the
There's
Bat
no
Rider
flexibility.
that's,
Yes.
that's the beauty of
That-
Bat Riders, you don't know.
Correct.
So
Like-
Weehan needs to pick a mid that doesn't get crushed by Bat Rider, but also doesn't get crushed by whatever the 10th pick is. So you can't, it really limits what you can run in that mid lane, because we talk about that mid lane being so important in this matchup with both Weeha and FN being the tempo players who want to have a good matchup.
And I don't think it's going to be an Elder Titan mid this time round.
Not the case.
Not against a non-Meepo.
And they're probably not going to draft the Pugna that they would have drafted before, because last time they lost to a Morphling. He was just too successful at being able to shotgun everybody down, so... I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of space for the Razor from before.
Razor's banned in the...
Okay.
Nigma banned it with the Lifestealer pick themselves.
There's no Tiny out there. There's still the OD.
Yep.
You could do an OD Lifestealer against a Morphling.
Yeah, so you want to prioritize picking up Weeha's hero, like, at this point?
Not necessarily. It's just more like, what do you think is... Like, when you're in this part of the drafting tool, it's more about what options do you have?
Yeah.
Right? So if there is only one mid that could fit here, then you kind of have to grab it now.
But if there's multiple, you're not too worried about things getting banned out. So you can always pick it later. They actually go for the Legion Commander offlaner mind control hero.
I love it. Yeah, it's a great pick here. And I think that's why they prioritize the offlane, because there's not any other real offlaner that can do what Legion does, which is give you a save against the Bat Rider. Also kind of gives you a way to jump and go in the Morphling if you catch him in that duel before he's morphing strength. Like, I like how this pick fits into their draft.
Yeah, they've got a lot of damage to follow it up, right? With a successful duel with a percentage-based damage coming out of an Elder Titan, that is a combination that feels very good. I think most of the matchups that you're looking at, like, your matchup against Morphling isn't, like, super exciting, but you do have an answer to Fury on inlane, because you deal with harassment damage very well off of your passive. And then the sustain from press the attack can really help you out in lane as well. Gambit's lineup just feels like it can't ever really fight into Nigma. They can only really take small engagements, but team fights are seemingly out of the question, which is where Nigma having additional lockdown and catch is really good.
Yeah.
Is this something they can fix with their last pick? Like, is there one hero that would tick all those boxes? I mean, that's a lot of boxes.
The Kunk is maybe the hero that stands out that can give them a big team fight and a way to initiate. But, I mean, Kunkka, Lifesteal is just not afraid of the Kunkka, which to me is the hero you got to address. You need, I mean, you've got the Morphling, who's a pretty good matchup, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard to see one hero that's going to just change how this draft looks. You already don't feel like the Bat Rider Lasso against the Lifesteal is going to be a counter when there's Legion Commander in the game.
I think you had so many options with that last pick. I think, like, Storm Spirit could have fit in. Maybe because of the bat matchup, some of the melee, like Void and Ember Spirit, maybe wouldn't work out as well. But, like, any sort of hero that just goes around and, you know, in Weeha style, just goes and runs around and kills things is relatively fragile, just because of the fact that they don't have the best way to be able to pressure you in team fights specifically. Now, Lena's still going to have to be careful of the roaming potential of the clockwork and being caught out by, a big shotgun blast from the Morphling, but you just want to play for this game fast, and Gambit needed like a huge buff in their team fight. Kunkka does provide that.
Yeah.
Yep, that does mean that our bet rider is going to be for Shaklo this time around. We talked a lot about the mid matchup, Kunkka versus Lina. How is the matchup and how is the tempo going to be set? Because I feel like Lina has a little bit of the edge on that one in terms of tempo setting anyway.
I mean, Kunkka should do just fine with the bracer build and able to just constantly harass the Lina, so I'm not worried about... I don't think either mid player runs away with the matchup. It may come down to what the 4 positions do, but that's why they pick this Lina, is because they know they can't give Weeha a matchup where he just loses the lane. So this Lina mid is going to have a lot of neutral matchups where you can just go 50-50, and Kunkka's kind of that. It's a very skill-based matchup.
No, that lane could be really hard just because of the fact they do have catch into clockwork roaming in, right? That on a squishy leading hero. So I think that's where I would like Gambit to put the most pressure. I think they really need to shut down Weeha here, make sure he doesn't get too far ahead. Plus, they need their Kunkka to be in a strong space. I'm not sure what the build is for this game. Maybe the Heaven's Halberd build because you're matched up against a Lifestealer, but they need a strong Kunkka to be able to slow down pushes on towers.
Yeah. Okay. All eyes on the middle lane.
At the same time, you watch them in the lane, Miracle's going to free farm, so watch out for that.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on the whole game. How about that one? Let's head over to ODPixel and Lacoste.
Thank you very much, Eva. Yes, Gambit up against Nigma here in this best of 3. I'm ODPixel with Lacoste. Lacoste, we've just seen the draft. Anything that's particular stands out that you're excited to see or a little worried about this game?
We just broke the game, you and me together. Courier sniping.
Oh, yeah.
Nature's Prophet TPs, you X-mark him before that. Kills the courier, comes back.
Amazing.
He can't die.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, they have a global lineup, pretty easy to set up ganks with. Either a hookshot, Nature's Prophet TPing with the X-mark. There's going to be easy to outnumber the opponent with this kind of a lineup. Kunkka, I would give a Kunkka 55, 60 to 40 in terms of a laning stage against Lina.
I'd agree. Yeah.
And if there's a rotation from position 4 early on, he gets level 6, then you get one more kill. But it's a miracle on Lifestealer. We saw what he could do. He can dive Fountain. 25, 30 minutes in against 5 heroes, they can't kill him, and you should not let this man free farm.
Yeah, but as you say, Miracle Lifestealer is something that we've seen before. Gambit coming into this series, they're going to have expected it. Do you sort of see with their draft how they can sort of mess up his game early on? Surely this is not going to be another game where Miracle's just given free farm, he's sort of ignored. Gambit's going to put the pressure on earlier.
Yeah, there is a bit limitation in terms of catching this Morphling before you get a Blink Dagger on Legion Commander, or if he overextends, but he should always be able to get the Morph off.
Yeah.
There is burst damage only on Lina.
Yeah. And as sort of the game goes on, it gets later. This Morph should be able to outcarry a Lifestealer, right? You've just got the favorable hero matchup.
Yeah, you also want to turn into Lifestealer, so you have that free BKB for him. Also, Nature's Prophet should do very well in the lane against Kuroki. I'm wondering if Kuroki wants to steal some of the creeps. Dream.
I mean, he's just straight dead. Enigma diving down bottom, and he's come out all on his own there. No one else around to be able to help push them off. First blood for Nigma onto Dream. As they'll also be able to bully FNG away here, maybe try and chase him also. Look at the Spirit out, the slow's there. GH, Mind Control, and Kuro, they'll chase this one down. I don't know if FNG can get himself away. He's been slowed down by the Orb of Venom. Nigma, they're going to start off this game with a couple of kills down here. 2 kills for Nigma here. This trio just having no trouble at all killing them off. Up top, Miracle. We'll get the control of the outpost for now. Vampire's going to start pushing him away, harass him with the battery assault a little bit. Creeps will come through, so tanking up a bit of it. We'll see how the lanes settle up, but not the dream start for Gambit. For those 2 losses early on.
I like what you did there, Dream.
Got him. But these other lanes, FN in mid, up against Weeha. You said it, you feel like there's an edge for the Kunkka. I mean, this is a lane, right, where the Kunkka shouldn't die, right? You're
he
tanky,
does not die.
You're getting your braces, you just don't have the burst on a Weeha to sort of threaten a Kunkka kill, really.
Every single time he gets close, we'll get hit a couple of times by Lina. Secure the range creep with the Dragon Slave, and you're gonna get harassed. Same thing goes for Tidebringer. FN will try to use the Torrent to secure the range creep with that Tidebringer on top of it. Get some extra harassment.
Yeah, and this Kunkka's going to play such a major part in the game for Gambit down the line. You look at sort of these pick-off heroes, right? The Lina, the Elsie, they're going to rely on getting those kills in the mid game with the Laguna Blades, with the duels. As long as FN's around and he's able to offer up the safety of the run from the boat, it's going to make it very hard for Nigma to get those quick kills. You cannot underestimate the run, and it's especially going to be that much more useful this game where Nigma have this ability with the aura from GH to reduce armor, to reduce resistance. At least Kunkka's able to sort of counteract that, buff his heroes back up so Nigma cannot get quick kills.
Yeah, once Clockwork gets to level 2, they might grab a kill on Kuroki, but he has a creep right now, so they need to play around that timing. Vampire in a bit of trouble. Yeah, if he can just buy time, that's fine. They just let him go.
Yep. He's still got a south. Because he's out of mana as well, he's just going to take the trip back to base. TP out of here. Shashlo's been able to pull the creep wave around, so nothing of experience will be lost for Gambit. They've been able to maintain control of that top lane in terms of farm. But it is going to be the situation, where if Shashlo... Oh, see mid. A bit of a trader, Weeha. Not going to commit with the Dragon Slaver. Being just level 1, of course, with the 1/1/1 would not have been enough to push the Kunkka over the edge. As Weeha's able to push him away, make sure that rune's not going to be picked up by any roaming supports. Mangoes are out. Weeha will be able to get himself top to back up and continue to apply that pressure. But as expected, mid-CS, pretty much even between these heroes right now.
Oh! One more slave, it's on cooldown. This is going to be tough. He does not have a point in X mark the spot. He just brought something on the courier. Yeah, that's a healing salve and the tango, which will get him to full HP. Vampire actually making a move on the bottom. Now it's going to be 3 against 3.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. Some good tri-lane action. That's where all the chaos can ensue. But this, it does mean that top lane, I feel it's got to be a little bit of a worry there for Gambit. You are allowing the situation to happen where Miracle's Lifestealer, he's going to get that space that we've seen many teams before give to this Lifestealer of Miracles, and Miracle's able to run away with the game. They must have a plan in their head down the lines, because as it seems, they don't feel they can do anything about it now.
Miracle is doing such a good job just understanding the hero and how far he can go, especially with trading the hits, getting the most out of that lane, out of that Lifestealer. If Prophet TP's mid, once Kunkka gets Lina low, that little bit of extra damage could get them a kill.
Yeah, you've certainly got to watch Weeha's HP, as FM will try to continue to clip him with the Tidebringers, but as it is, Weeha doing a good job with the Light Strike arrays to mess with the CS of FN and just not allowing him to really get the angle to try and trade back with Tidebringer hits and Torrents. Bottom lane, FNG is going to be slowed and focused. Vampire will swing across, big nuke from Microtrol, brings him low, but won't quite kill him off, as they will live. And this mid lane, yeah, it seems like FN, he's just really struggling to get an angle to harass Weeha at all. Weeha's just consistently sitting at full HP. FN never really being able to find the Tidebringer hits, and now with this DD rune pickup, this mid lane's going to get even harder for FN, and Weeha's punches, they're going to hurt.
Wee's playing this really amazing. He's pushing out the lanes. All right, the Dream is gone. Back to Wee on the mid lane. He outpushes the lane, controls the rune, even though the previous rune was Invis, which he killed. Didn't matter too much, but the DD, all Clockwork.
Yeah, this is smart. They know that Weeha wants to play aggressive with the DD, so Vampire's moved over. They're going to get on top of them. Weeha does land the 2-man Light Strike array, but they've surrounded him. Weeha probably going to get a kill or two out of this. He'll get the one of them. Pops the Fairy Fire. He's going to have the movement speed as well. FN, has he got anything else? Here's the TP backup. You talked about FNG coming across to try and help, but another stun. Weeha gets the 2 of them, salves up, turns with the Dragon Slave, gets the double kill.
Play.
Weeha will live. The Treants, they will chase him, but they won't be enough to kill him. GH is even going to come across and give a good bit of a punch to FN. But some smart plays from Weeha, playing aggressively. They wanted to try and punish it with the clock rotation, but they just didn't have enough to deal with the Lina.
If FNG hit him twice instead and 1 hit from Kunkka, I think that would be enough to actually finish off the Lina. Dream is also not having an okay time on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they need to keep this more safe.
A lot of resources early on spent on healing salves on this Kunkka. If we switch the net worth real quick, I just want to see the difference between Lina and Kunkka. Yeah, it's already 700. Sorry, 300.
It's building up. It's early days, and definitely the Warriors, that free farm Lifestealer, they've got to do something about it, Gambit, as that problem's only going to get bigger and bigger. I think pressure's going to be on to Shashlo to make moves. He's obviously being able to pull the waves. He's the most farmed hero at the moment on the map for Gambit. So getting his 6, getting that lasso is going to be all important, and then he needs backup. He needs additional help so we can try and get in, lasso the Lifestealer, play around the Rage, and somehow kill him off. But it's not going to be easy with the start that they've given Miracle's Lifestealer on this top lane.
Yeah. Gambit switching to a tri-lane on bottom does not benefit them at all. Like, you get more damage from Spirit, more heroes, you get more damage from Overwhelming Gods on top of some treants from Nature's Prophet.
We'll see, we are trying his luck a bit with this haste rune. Notice that the Firefly will wear off, but wants to use the rest of that haste to return back to mid, make sure he doesn't miss out on the creep wave being pushed into the tower. Yeah, Gambit just kind of struggling to get anything done on the map at the moment in these lanes. You're already seeing 6 minutes in, Nigma starting to build up already a 3k lead in farm. As FNG will be able to find a courier snipe, gets behind the tower. GH will keep his courier that little bit safer as he'll hold it away from the Prophet.
I want to see rotation from FN against this tri-lane, get a kill, or if Clockwork rotates to the mid lane. Oh, is that going to be another courier snipe?
I mean, FNG's trying. He's looking for it. He's going to make the treants, and that'll help him find it. He'll die, but he'll say that's worth. As he takes down a second courier within the minute.
You need to help other lanes. Top lane, Batrider is doing okay in terms of CS, but bottom lane, Morphling is struggling, so you need to address that problem.
Yeah, they've got to find out their best move, and I think, you know, as you mentioned, the obvious thing to do is to just get something done with this Kunkka. FN's getting the levels. Obviously, ganking top, very hard to do against a Lifestealer with Rage, but definitely potential plays he can make elsewhere. He's got that great combo to land and utilize. As top, another courier will fall, and that's a big one. That was the completed armlet, I believe, being taken away from Miracle. So Shashlo will slow that down for a little minute. Question is, of course, if they can really do anything with that timing and still go for the Lifestealer without those items. He's still very hard to tackle at the moment.
He is. It was phase boots and half the component of that armlet. He would be way too far.
I was going to aim it.
Yeah.
You're like, hang on, if that was a full armlet. Mid lane, Torrent setup comes into play, but a TP's already over from GH, and we are just, as I say, he's played in a way where FN just has never really been able to bring him down low. So there's never sort of that opportunity, as you mentioned, that Gambit would have wanted to look for earlier, where he's sort of harassed low by the Tidebringer spam, and then a TP comes in from the Prophet. Weeha's just been doing an excellent job of avoiding being in that situation at all.
I love positioning from Miracle in this game. He's standing behind the tier 1 tower, and he can also rotate to the mid lane. We saw that today already, where he ganks with the Lifestealer the mid lane.
Yeah, you've got to watch out for those infest movements. He is very confident playing around them. Movement from the mid. Weeha heads down towards bottom. He'll help them pick off poor old Vampire, who's really struggling to get much done at the moment as this support clock. Just a couple of deaths. As you know, 7-0. They still are struggling to find their first kill. They'll look to Miracle, and they will get him. Very, very big kill for Gambit. Exactly what they needed. They outplay him. The combination between the lasso and just the pure damage offered by the Kunkka, enough to finally take Miracle off the map. They've got to keep this up. This is the hero you have to be most worried about if you're Gambit.
Batrider did not have a point in Lasso, even though he was already level 7, and now he put 1. He understood that the Miracle is playing a bit too aggressive. Also, JJ showing that the FNG is just killing the couriers all over again.
And it adds up, you know, a decent bit of money for the whole squad every time he does it. And Gambit, after that kill on Miracle, they're staying on the aggressive up top. Shashlo just diving on towards the tier 2, chasing GH. One more hit will do it. He'll get the kill.
Just TP out.
TP out. He will not make it away. Nigma do get the kill in return.
But this Batrider is extremely farmed.
Yeah.
Windlace, Boots of Travel, halfway to the Blink Dagger. Also, he needs the help. Like, he should play with this Kunkka. Kunkka needs to be more active.
Yeah, we'll see where FN wants to head next. Halberd queued up. That's what he wants to pick up.
Vampire needs to buy Tome for himself, only level 4. At this point, you don't care too much about Nature's Prophet being under-leveled, not having that level 6, and here it comes.
Yeah, and once he does, you know, eventually get that 6, there's the heroes that are incredibly vulnerable to the clock being on top of them. Both supports and even the mid, Weeha's Lina. If Excess Vampire can get on them, set up with the cogs, every single time FN will be able to offer that follow-up pretty consistently with the Torrent boat, and they'll get the kills on these 3 heroes. They're not tanky heroes early on at all. Now back towards mid, Shashlo.
Lasso's up.
He sweeps across, here's the lasso, drags him back and away. FN's going to attempt to head over, will get caught out by the Stomp the Sleep. He's not even needed though, it's Shashlo. He's just doing this alone.
Man,
Really,
Shotlo
really nice
is
stuff from
keeping
Bat.
them in this game,
He
putting
is.
the pressure on the top lane, killing Miracle, stopping his farm. Also can't be anywhere on the map. They should be careful about this global presence from
Yeah.
the Nature's Prophet, TPing, Boots of Travel on Batrider. Also, Clockwork got his hook shot ready.
Now this is... Ooh,
Oh.
and this is another courier. It is FNG. He's taken them all day, and in fact, Excess Vampire comes across to try and help him with the cogs. Miracle will be able to bite his way out and kill off FNG, but FNG will consider his job done once more. As I've sort of lost count of the couriers that he has killed,
Nice
but he's
snap
killed a
after
lot.
5.
As up top, they'll turn towards Dream. Dream, he has got Excess Vampire around, and 6 has been hit, so a hook shot's available if needed. Miracle will continue to try and chase. Do manage to land the stomp, but a good cogs will push him back momentarily. Still, Miracle dives on forward. Does get shoved to the side by the adaptive strike. He'll turn his attention over towards the clock instead. Light Strike Array and the Laguna nukes down Vampire before he can drop a single spell. They'll get the kill on the clock, but the Morph will be saved. He will retreat and get out of there. Still, we're just watching this back. Shashlo, he's pretty much got the blink on top of the Boots of Travel at 12 minutes in. He's playing excellently. They had this situation top where they said, it's fine, let Miracle have free farm. We're going to make sure that the Bat's able to continue to pull waves and get this incredible amount of farm. We've seen teams do this against Nigma, against this Miracle Lifestealer, but then not do anything with that advantage the offlaner has. Shashlo, he's utilizing that power exactly when it's needed.
You have that BKB piercing ability, so you can just play that aggressive. And Miracle, like, his aggressiveness throughout this tournament has been, like, off the charts.
Yeah, and to the point where it has cost Nigma some games. You know, Miracle has, he has
Shots fired.
base and things. You've got to watch out. Now, Miracle in games like the one yesterday, right, 15k advantage, an incredible start with the Slark, and a mistake or two, it slips all away. So Gambit, they know that there is a weakness they can punish, and top lane, they're going to try for it, dragging him back into the stun. They'll attempt with the cog pushback to continue to disable him, but he's still able to get into the creep, infest, and keep his distance. Miracle will survive. Gambit unsuccessful with the attempt this time round. Bottom lane, hunting for FNG in the trees. Kuro and Mind Control, they'll find him. They'll bring it back with a duel. Can they kill him in time, though? They won't get the bonus damage, but they will surely get the kill. Yeah, the final nuke takes FNG down. No chance for an escape, as Nigma can remain keeping the pressure on this bottom lane.
This should be a tower on the bottom lane, even though they popped the glyph, but global presence, if they all decide to TP, they're pinging it out.
Now Shashlo sweeping across. No
Where's the
lasso
boat?
for a minute.
I did not see a single boat.
Yeah, we've been sort of talking up Shashlo's movements. FNs have kind of slowed down. Maybe just sort of focused on finishing his item. He will now turn up to the fight here, and a great time to do so as the setup's there with the X-Mark, dragging Mind Control back. Kuro, he can only sort of watch from the side. I don't think there's much he can do to help him out as Mind Control gets pushed back by the cogs. Does get the buff off and continues to run away. The ult from GH does pull them back, and in fact, that's enough separating Gambit from the Legion commander. Mind Control's actually able to sneak away from underneath the noses of 4 heroes.
Yeah, because of the build, could Phase Boots Magic Wand on top of Raindrop, like, any magical damage they have is going to be mitigated by those items.
No, I mean, he's out of there and he's full HP. He'll go back towards the mid where FN will show and try and push this out. Halbert's pretty much done, so FN, he can really cause some issues for heroes, especially this Lifestealer, making it very hard for Miracle to play potentially as aggressive as he wants to, particularly when you see, you know, Miracle, he does love this sort of armlet build, the build for killing. FN, he's got an item to answer it. Halbert's done.
Kuroki just playing with the mouse at the moment to 117 actions per minute.
Yeah, who had so there were some high APMs there as well, but 117 action per minute. Kuro's, yeah, playing it chill. Doesn't even need to plug in his key. Just roaming around as an ant. You know, you've only got a few buttons, a few spells to use. Get that impetus on or auto cast. Easy job.
Is that how you play?
Yeah, yeah.
Autocast, all right.
Well, I wouldn't call it playing. It's pretty bad. But, you know, and she's kind of a strong hero at the moment, you know. Mid lane. Now look for a tier 1 here. Any sort of defense from Gambit, it's not going to be the case. They're going to try for the trade. Top lane, Excess Vampire and Dream pushing on as they'll start knocking on the tier 1. Nigma, they'll bring it towards the tier 2. Or maybe looking for a chance to sweep up towards that top lane that they know is getting pushed in against them. As Dream, he's hanging around. TPs start to come in. Dream's got to be careful about how he exits this. He's going to go for the TP straight away for the tree line, and he'll get out before any sort of backup from Nigma's inbound. Another tower's taken, though. Nigma starting to move around the map as a unit, and they're taking these objectives away from Gambit.
It's hard to start a fight with the Nigma's lineup. They need to get close, or V needs to use that Yule Scepter. It's really not easy.
In the river, Vampire and FN smoked up a little bit of a bait from Shashlo here as he draws them over. There's the opening for the hookshot straight away into Weehaw. They'll look for the X-Mark combo. He uses himself up defensively, but he still gets caught out by the boat. Weehaw will fall. Now Miracle and Mind Control turn up. Instant Halberd onto the lifesteal. He'll pop the rage. They'll look for the Jewel. Dream, he's shifting up. Is it enough to keep him alive? It is. Dream will still live. They'll lose the clock. They'll turn over towards Dream. He waveforms away. Nigma, have they got any further catch? The Spirit's out. Staying upon Dream, Shashlo trying to slow them down and push back with the adaptive. Will stun Miracle for the time being. The stomp won't get him as Dream's under the tower. This is Miracle though, he's aggressive, he wants to keep going. Shashlo will be able to punish it. Drags him back with the lasso, separates him from the Morphling. So Miracle won't get the kill. Shashlo able to protect Dream.
There's no follow-up. If Kunkka used his spells, they can't really go on the Lifestealer. They have enough lockdown with the Clockwork and the Batrider Lasso. He did a good job not using it in the previous fight. They got Lina without it. But Lifestealer really tough not to crack right now with the Armlet 2000 HP.
And with that Deso certainly packs a punch. As now down the bottom, Shashlo. They are looking for him. Nigma starting to head towards this bat. He is a very juicy catch as his game continues to be very nice. All three cores really of Gambit in a solid position. I mean, across the board, it is very close. Sure, 12-4. Only a 2K lead in it, though. And pretty much all of that on the Lifestealer. So anytime there's a situation without that Lifestealer involved, Gambit is still going to be comfortable taking these fights. Mid lane FNG causing a bit of a disturbance and a distraction as Kuro and GH will head back for him. I don't know if there's any way he can escape this. Just try and take as long as he can to die. Spirit's out, Stomps there, and FNG will fall.
FNG 0-6-1, but he killed a lot of the couriers. This game does not have a place, actually, after that bad laning stage. They need one item on the morph that's going to be E-Blade for him. So this is kind of a...
This gang, it catches Shashlo by surprise. Mind Control able to just get the walk up and duel around the tree line, and Miracle's inside him ready to fight as well.
It will be a saving item once they get that Ethereal Blade plus some extra nuke damage that they need. Right now they're pretty limited. Clockwork doesn't provide that much. Nature's Prophet is hard to explain what his role is.
Imagine that Gambit want to get over there. They do have those wards that would have seen Nigma step over towards the Roche pit. But with the Deso, maybe just doing it a little too quickly for Gambit to do anything. They do have the hook shot, so we could look for a steal here if XS Vampire wants to commit.
Nice
Got to
block.
look for the timing, but indeed, the creep control from Kuro is blocking him off. The Torrent's there, but Vampire cannot get in time. Great plays from both GH and Kuro to just block off any route of access for Vampire. The boat comes crashing down. He'll try for the TP out, but they've got more than enough stuns to hold him in place, set him up for the duel as Roshan, Aegis, and the bonus duel damage all goes to Nigma. Gambit cannot contest the Roshan time.
This build on Miracle that he's been using for past 3-4 days, it's super effective, pretty easy to make, cost efficient, and it gives you potential to go for the objectives, Roche and the towers. Shot slow.
It is hit. FNG tries to block Miracle off, but he'll quickly bite through the trees. The Torrent won't save FNG. FNG gone, and now Shashlo has to be a little careful. It's an incredibly slippery hero to catch with that blink. And working on that 4-staff next so we can have extra ways to sort of play around these side lanes and not worry about the catch that Nigma's going to try and use to get him. The big item's done for Dream. There it is, that's the reveal. Steps up to mid. Quick use of the E-Blade, and Kuro is dead. So Dream very much ready to join the rest of his causes. We've sort of seen Gambit fall back into this farming pattern, just getting these big items done. Now, with the E-Blade on Morph, you can expect them to get a little more active.
Yeah. Shashlo doing such a good job, just cutting the waves, almost has max movement speed with this build. Extra Windlace, I love that on Batrider.
And we see here any sort of particular items. I mean, yeah, as you say, sort of the buff from the brooch as well on the bat. Very nice to have. One of those very tasty early game neutral items that you can find on heroes that want to be as active and roam as much as Shashlo on his bat. Halberd's done for Miracle. So that extra tankiness, buff up to the amount of heals he's going to be providing himself. and having that disarm to counteract a lot of the damage really coming from both the Kunkka and the Morph. Still obviously ways to play with the magical output they offer. That's another courier. FNG is able to get back to business.
That's a lot of gold that you get from the couriers right now.
If you add them all up on top, they've found mind control. Excellent play.
Nice
Dream gets the kill. They look to return, and Dream, he's going in aggressively. He's going to waveform forward, turn into Lifestealer, pop the Rage, but he's taken a decent amount of right clicks, so he has to start shifting back into strength. Looks for Weeha. Weeha will be able to dodge that final nuke with the Yules. And Dream, he needs assistance. He has to waveform back again to get himself away. He will live. But very refreshing to see, you know, Dream really starting to get stuck in, diving in like that to 4 heroes. He knows his limits as the Morph, and he's ready to utilize them. It's mid, a bit of a play around with Miracle, but with both Rage and Aegis, not a hero that Gambit can commit anymore to. Not that they need to. They'll let him go.
Dream needs to be careful about Elder Titan's aura. Once that's maxed out, like removing all of his armor on top of Deso, that's going to be tricky. Right now, it's only level 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once that is up, you're absolutely right. Any sort of stun that holds
and the
Dream
GH,
down.
he understands I need to be on top of him, so that's why he's building a BKB. He needs to be close. They don't have any abilities besides Lasso that go through BKB.
Yeah, and their best method of sort of dealing with GH would have been the sort of E-Blade combo from Morph, so for sure once that's there,
Whoa,
of course the problem.
Half HP.
This is it's a tanky hero. Yeah, you sort of see it here. They are laying down the ult. Miracle's going to come in. Can they actually kill off FN? FN pots the BKB, he's running. Miracle staying on top. They have to use the hook shot at SS Vampire. Will disrupt the play from Miracle, push him back in towards the torrent, but doesn't manage to get away. Laguna Blade from Weehard takes the clock out of the map, but at least able to provide some sort of safety for FN to get away with. Nigma, they'll stay on the aggressive as they've got this bottom lane, pushing in, down bottom. And with that Aegis, they can be very much ready to try and pressure high ground here 23 minutes in. Is this another courier? It is. FNG.
Oh, that's a Blink Dagger.
Oh. Very, very tasty.
Mind control, so he won't be able to position himself, get that initiation that they were kind of lacking. Smoke, Gambit should see this.
I mean, they're losing the base pretty quickly. That is a tier 3 gone. They're going to be onto the barracks. Dream does find the tier 2 top, but they're just conceding this bottom lane. They're not going to try and put a defense together. They feel that with the Aegis, they cannot touch Miracle the once, let alone the twice, so they just watch the barracks fall.
Very nice trade.
And
Courier for tier 3 tower and the Raxes.
And the map's not quite checking out for Gambit in terms of that transaction. A 3k lead though, and that melee racks up. A little bit of a worry for Gambit, but still, the farm, it is good. Both Dream and FN, they've got the money. It's just not quite on par with that of Miracle. They have to somehow catch this Lifestealer out.
The way Nigma has been playing over the past few days is have Miracle getting all the farm on the map, and
look at this, man.
Rest of the team is just itemizing differently. You see V, he's like a core who's not gonna scale with this kind of item, so they're relying on Miracle to solo carry this. If you watch the game when he played the Tiny, 4 staffs, drums, again, Miracle, he's their late game insurance. Even though it's not looking like it's gonna come to late game at all.
Yeah, everything's starting to really build up to this point, this 25-minute era, which I feel like, you know, Nigma, the games that they have been able to win, they have sort of fallen between this 25-30-minute mark where they really start to push on with the power that they built up. They're coming out mid, though. Gambit, they see an opportunity to get in onto Miracle, but whoa, Dream's just gone. He stepped forward and he was a little too low, and Weehart basically just one-shots the poor old Morph. And Dream, he's without buyback.
Now it's time to go for Nigma. The Morph players, man, these days, they're so greedy, morphing everything without having a vision on that high ground, so Lina just snipes them.
Yeah, one of the reasons why you don't see Lina in a game much against a Morph, as it's normally taken away if a team wants to present the Morphling pick, as you just get caught out, you disappear in a snap with that huge burst from the Laguna Blades. You've got to be careful, you've got to keep an eye on that HP number and make sure that you never have it too low when you don't have full vision around where you're playing. As this mid lane now, off the back of those kills, Nigma can get in and look to take a second set of racks away from Gambit. They will have the carry back in 5, but the buildings just fall so fast. This armlet Deso and the buff from the Legion, Miracle cleans up on the mid lane. It's 25 minutes in, 2 sets of full racks down against Gambit. The game, it's only getting harder for them.
Was that Laguna?
It was. And he's tanky, you know. FN, not quite like Dream. Doesn't really care about a Laguna. They care about sort of the full combo from the two of them, though. GH stomp, set ups the ult. He pops the BKB. I don't know if this will save him as FN doesn't manage to get the boat or any sort of extra safety out in time. Kunkka will fall as Gambit, they're starting to hemorrhage kills on their all-important carries.
At one point, you gotta fight them. This is how Nigma was playing. They just park inside your base, kill the Raxes without even taking a fight.
That's, you know, FNG. I mean, he's doing his bit. He's going for these couriers consistently. I think he's easily killed over 10 couriers this game. Miracle, I'll be able to get a bit of revenge as Nigma themselves finally take out a courier this match. FN was trying to get it out towards that shop. It won't make it. Dream. E-Blade nearly done. So at least with that, some sort of safety against the combo. Obviously, they do have ways to break the Lincolns before the Laguna Blade comes in. But even sort of just that little bit of time can be enough to allow the Morph to start shifting and stop himself from dying straight up to Weehar's Lina. And he's hiding.
A lot of couriers killed this game.
That's a bit of a courier bloodbath. So what the players for Gambit now. Very hard for them to really leave the base with these two racks being taken away from them this early on.
Kuro, we talked about his APM. Now he's increasing it.
Oh, he is spamming that Q. Getting ready to smash.
You stop.
It's top lane. There we go. Stretching his arms a bit. And tier 2, it'll be gone. Or will it? You see the line being drawn by Gambit. They're going to try and make this smoke play outside of the base. I think, you know, that they kind of have to. The last two times they tried to defend from the high ground haven't gone great. They'll find Weehar separated, but Weehar's got a blink, so immediately as Dream turns towards him, Weehar's out of there. And now Gambit, they're going to be pretty aware of what's going on. Sure, you know, they'll see Dream on his own, but they know it's very likely that Dream has backup smoked up around him. And they're just going to ignore it for now. Keep the wave pushed in on the top lane. Roshan is up. Gambit. The smoke will start to end. They're trying to get in onto Nigma on the back lines. The duel's there. Can they put a stop to this? Hook shot over from Vampire. The cogs are out. But Miracle, he turns towards Shashlo, caught out by the light strike. They've lost the bat. The poor old Morse in so much trouble as he waveforms away. He has to run as he gets Laguna down low. Mind control will fall. FNG able to TP back to safety. They're focusing Dream. They'll try to TP out, but the net, the stop, it's all there to hold back the Morph. Another attempt to waveform away. He'll turn into Legion to buff himself up, given some sort of heal. He'll use the E-Blade. He's trying to play away from these heroes, but they'll continue to chase him. The Dragon Slave clips him, and Mind Control slices him down.
When Morph shows in a team fight, GH just starts following him. He wants that aura on top of him to remove all of his base armor and magical resistance. Morph does not have a buyback. He just
does not.
Invested everything into that.
I think they just caught it.
This is it.
They just caught it. I mean, you got to understand, it certainly felt like it. This was a game where two racks were down. Gambit, they just weren't able to do anything. They tap out. They know it's their best interest to just focus on what they want to bring to game 2 rather than wasting any more time on this game 1. As Nigma, they get away with it once more. Miracle on his Lifestealer gets that lane, that free opportunity to have the free farm. Nigma make a hell of a lot of space around the map. And Gambit, it never came together in time. We saw okay farm on their cores, but they just were